Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're at in the world today. And it could be any one of hundreds of countries that we are often speaking to. And this is Coffee with Ed the Pagan. And today I am enjoying a cup of coffee, Starbucks coffee cup, tall coffee cup, because I'm a big lover of coffee, as everybody knows. And today is a very special day. Today is May 4th. And so today I'm offering you that out there. Today's May 4th. May the 4th go with you. It's kind of a strange day for Star Wars fans. It is an unofficial day. Saint Carrie of the Blessed, keeper, somebody who stood up for a lot of rights in her real life as well as in wow, that's really bright in my face today. Okay, a little better. I feel like I'm under a third-degree interrogation. Yeah, that sort of thing. So I'm so glad to be here. This weekend we saw a lot of Beltane energy and Samhain energy in some parts of the world, but Beltane energy here in the Northern Hemisphere and online was just tremendous. I think it was a fascinating aspect of our community over this year. I think that it was there, so you can see the rituals. A lot of rituals were broadcast. A lot of them were shown. So yeah. So if you are there, so next thing's up, let you know. So I'm going to do another Corellian, Meet the Corellians tomorrow night with Deej Fortney, and we're setting up for more of that. We're continuing our growth in our system. 1 year ago today, May 4th, I think the day of the rebellion, we so like to think of ourselves as Star Wars, and the way I think too much of the world is now staring to see as the Sith, the Empire. But it is true that we see ourselves in our heroic stories, and that our heroic stories are very important to us. Since I was a very young man, I've been fascinated by the idea of mystical knights that actually aren't just there as protectors of the law or men in steel, but the magical and mystical properties of them. And so the stories of Roland, which is where that Charlemagne, people think of the paladins as being this long-term thing, but there were a very short period of time in which paladins really did exist. And I often said I am a reincarnation of those soldiers, of those warriors who were out there. And that would be the Charlemagne, which was in the 800s. People don't realize the father of what would become the Holy Roman Empire and the Caroline Renaissance. And while he had so many things he did that were wrong or cruel by our standards, he did a lot of things that were right by our standards. In a society that was very dark and very angry and very lost in some ways, at least is how we historically aspect it. And what a paladin does is the idea of we come forth and we kind of look at the world as it is. We kind of look at the world as it is, as we way that it really is. I mean, we try so hard to strip it away from its nonsense and its hystericalness and it's the fantasies of what we'd like it to be to what it is. And then once we see what it is, we can then build towards what we want. And that can be our fantasies. That can be our realities. It can be our dreams. And in a sense, the Paladin Order, the Order of Paladins began many years ago, but it was more a dream and a thought form and a small group for me and my friends to balance our acts. In 2018, at the Problem of World Religions, I realized I had to bring them out even further. And last Friday, I talked about my own experiences with it, but 2018 was really the day, the year, November, the Problem of World Religions, where I saw it was it. And last year, I went to what I would call the Vox, or the tradition has, and said, will you recognize that we want to help you, that we want to serve you? And on May 4th last year, we did a great crystal web ritual. We did an amazing ability to do a great crystal web ritual. We also talked about the Paladins, which has gone online, and we talked about what we wanted to do. Today is a very important day for the Paladins. We're going to have a very private meeting, and a lot of members and a lot of people who have joined since then. And it falls into that statement that I learned from Anthony Robbins. And we overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can do in a day. And Dan Sullivan's added something new, and we have no idea what we can do in 25 years. When you start to think of things in terms of years decades, quarter centuries, you realize how much you can really do. And that's one of the things that I think the Paladin ideology is all about. Can we help over the long run? Not just can we help today. Now, they've taken on some projects. They did the Corellian illustration. They've helped build out a platforms. They're helping more people get their communications out. I think that's an essential part. We are going to do more about Gaia Thrift. We're going to try to do more out in the communities. But today marks the day of action. May 4th, may the 4th be go with you. Star Wars, our idea of the Jedi and our ideas of the Sith is the idea that there is a battle inside each of us to do the right thing or the wrong thing. That which is selfish or that is selfless. And so we always ride between those two emotions. And we can always have fun with that. And so that's a very important part of what we do, is make sure that we can have that ideology, that philosophy on it. So I'm always very excited about this. So May 4th, Star Wars Day, but today is the day that the Paladins, we absolutely, so this is where our activation is. That's what we're doing. And wow. Huh. Hi, Neil. Can you hear me? Can't hear you. Unmute. Oh, I should unmute you. That would work. Everybody's always talking about these sort of security. So I've taken a lot more security and putting a lot more security on our Zoom, because there was a lot of people like, oh, Zoom is so dangerous. I've been using it pretty well. We've done a lot of stuff on it so far. We've clocked in hundreds of hours already. Can you hear me now? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, now I can hear you. Hi, Neil. Let's go ahead and do a gallery view. Hi, Neil.
Hello.
Good morning. How you doing? I hope you're doing better.
Can you see me?
I can see you. We all can see you.
Okay. Then I'm wondering why I can't see anybody.
Because there isn't anybody. It's just me and you.
Okay.
I kind of limits. I did when I use it in broadcast mode. I put it on a much more limited scale.
Okay. Gotcha.
It goes out there. So for people who are not used to Zoom, Zoom has a couple. I like Zoom because there's extreme flexibility in what we can do. This is me using it as a broadcaster, and we're on 5 different websites if it worked. Our Facebook pages, Periscope, Zoom, and Twitch.
Cool.
All simultaneously. There it is. So what are you drinking today? What type of coffee are you drinking there?
100% Colombian. Folgers.
Folgers is a good brand. It's a good house brand. I drink Folgers a lot.
The black silk is my personal favorite, but
what?
That's the black silk.
That's a good one. Smooth.
My favorite.
That's a smooth one. So yeah, I like that too. So yeah, I was just talking about, today's May 4th. I know you are a fan of pop culture.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So does this day have any special significance to you?
It's May the 4th. You know, May the 4th be with you. Yes.
Yeah. St. Carrie Day, right? I saw
right.
it was, we don't give a damn about things. Do what you're going to do.
Right.
I think Carrie Fisher, her beloved soul, has really become a real energy inside the Star Wars community for a lot of people, but especially for women. Of kind of being like, it didn't matter. They always
women's rights. She stood out for women's rights, and that is wonderful. And all the humanitarian things that she does in the universe.
And how she's willing to talk. I love a straightforward talking person. I do.
Yes, she's willing to stand up for her rights.
Yeah. And the character, I always liked it. That Princess Leia and General. She had just the same skills as her father and her brother.
Yep.
Right. But she never once looked at the dark side.
Right.
I always liked that. The innate fact that she had Jedi, that she had Jedi abilities as well. I've always loved that aspect of it. So, and Neil's recently joined our Paladins, and he's been out there helping us with a lot of things, and talking. We've been talking a lot about merchants. I see merchants are getting much more, are starting to realize how important they are. I think that now that we've seen the economy and small businesses get disruptive and everything else, I think so. It's very interesting. Neil and I had almost a prescient conversation back in February.
Yeah.
About the fact that nobody really recognized the value of the merchants and festivals and things like that. Everybody just took them for granted and treated them pretty much like, oh yeah, that they were crude individuals, that they were just out there for the money and that how they helped. And we were talking about how we needed to kind of show the world that the merchants, especially the festival goers, more importantly, the festival hosts and promoters, that the merchants had more value.
Yes.
Than they were treating them. And I think now, they see just how much difference that makes.
We're not the evil Ferengi that they feel come in and prey on the community and then leave, pack up and leave. So yes.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm a Ferengi shaman. That's
right. I love that term. Yeah, the idea of the idea that you don't see that they need we need to get one of the Star Trek writers to help us write that character up. It's a hysterically funny but a very important article, because in the Ferengi, if you ever really listen to them, there may be capitalistic as all out and greedy and all that, but they do have rules.
And the more you give away, the more you get. Oh, it's energy drink morning. All right.
Oh no, I'm two-fisted drinker this morning.
Oh. Heavy-handed there.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm generally I've been a good sleeper. People have been talking about their vivid dreams during the vivid and powerful dreams they're all having during this. They've even gotten so strong that researchers from all across the world have basically started saying those people that are caught are actually having these strong vivid dreams. Quarantine has been the opposite for me. It's keeping me up at night. Everybody who knows me, if anyone knows about me over in general, wow, that's a terrible look. There you go. That's a little better. My hair's getting a little long again, so it's like, what am I going to do with it?
I've got that problem too. I need a haircut so bad.
But it's not worth bringing quarantine today. So today, the quarantine's beginning to be broken here in Florida.
Today is our first day open here.
Same here. And we're in phase 1, which is, not everything's open, but some things are open.
Some things are open, yes.
And I'm going to stay put a little bit. I'm very fortunate that I have very good friends that are taking care of me here. I had very good friends in Kansas City. I have very good friends, and wherever I was, I think I can find space to stay. But
always,
yeah. But I also know that it's been really hard to stay so put. So we've talked a lot about merchants. So one of the questions came up on my Facebook pages, and people have asked me directly is about this idea of festivals and how they should treat their people. And I think and I've said people if you can let your membership roll it over. If they're doing an online event and you like that sort of thing, roll it. Let it happen. We're doing that with Three Gates and Pagan Unity Festival. They're combining forces, very intelligent of them. And at the end of the month, they're going to hold this magnificent 47 speakers, 10 mad musical groups. We're going to bring those on air. I'm really excited to be a part of that whole team, bring it on the air, and it's there for people who want it. The funny thing is I was going to attend both of those events this year, and I'm going to anyway, but it is that.
Right.
If you can't attend or you're not interested, donating your ticket is great. But at the end of the day, I do think, and I think I've gotten a lot of pushback, is the idea that it's okay to ask for a refund. Now, not everybody can do that.
Yes, I agree with that. Or roll it over to the following year's festival.
Yeah, I like that. And online, and if you want to make a donation, I think all those things are helpful. But I know there's a lot of people who want to have the festival, want that experience.
Yep.
Who and now maybe have found themselves just like everybody else, caught for cash. that sort of thing. So I know at least a couple of festival people said, no, we're going to force them all to go online. And it's not the same experience. And so
That's not fair, in my opinion.
yeah, I know. Mine either, but
like you said, it's nowhere near the same experience.
mm-mm.
It's fun. It's nice that we can do all this, but it's not the same feeling of being there with the people.
Now, for the Corellian illustration we just had, it was a unique experience. And for many people, it was a better experience because they would not be able to experience the illustration.
Right.
And we had 9 countries do one ritual. 37 people in 9 countries do one ritual. So in some ways, I think online festivals have some elements in them that make them so much better than the physical one.
It's different.
It's absolutely
and
different.
Everybody is learning. It's a large learning curve right now.
Absolutely.
On how to pull this off.
Absolutely.
And the things that work and the things that don't. Just like in reality at festival. Well, I had plans, but all that went out the window, and we're running with what we got.
And I've heard the one exercise is that the one thing we don't give refunds for at festivals is weather.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're trying to say to me that the coronavirus is weather. Okay.
No.
I mean, I think everybody has to make their own choices. I'm not one to say, I'm not an arbitrator of what is, that sort of thing. But people have asked me because I'm advocating for the online festivals, and I think that everybody should do it. The next festival up is Three Gates. I think people should do that. It's a $50 festival, so you get a chance to see 47 speakers and a lot of music. I think it can be a lot of fun, and I think that's a fair price.
That's less than $1 a piece.
Yeah.
I mean, where else can you get that?
And people do pay good money for concerts. So to be open, so it's very interesting because Neil and I have been having these conversations for a little while. And what we wanted to do, what I was expecting myself to do, is I'm going to follow Neil around. I was going to do my festivals that I was invited to. Neil's doing some we're going to do together. And then one of the things we're going to have so much fun doing is that we're beginning to go make video copies and things like that with the idea of bringing on next year, this idea of following Neil around for an entire season and showing what it's like to be on the festival circuit. And then the year after that, I was hoping to have a hybridized service where I can talk to the festivals and broadcasting parts of their festival live. Right. I think that all got crunched down into like, okay, now.
Well, we had a plan starting in February, and everything's just kind of, we're going to retool this again. I remember sitting here Sunday night going, yes, okay, now this is what we're going to do now.
And we have. So yeah, it's fascinating, and it's been a fascinating process. So we are seeing people starting to open up and things of that nature. For me, so it was very interesting. Literally a year ago today, I've been posting the speeches I made about reopening the Paladin Order. And tonight, the Paladins, we're taking our oaths and we're setting our final rankings. And we're going to be getting on to our next level of activity. And this last year has been a lot of planning, the idea of Gaia Thrift, planning about how to do camping, that sort of thing. We were supposed to do our first camping trip in June at Three Gates. We're going to kind of do that first element of it. So again, I say it, overestimate what you can do in a year, underestimate what you can do in a decade. And last year, we've been spending a lot of time planning. So it's very fascinating to see all of this grow. And it's not a small order anymore. It's very fascinating. We even got our booklet out. We have a book of rules.
Yep.
Everybody laughs because I'm a creature of chaos. I mean, I operate better in chaos. And so I'm really happy with that. I was made CIO of Corellian Education Ministries, and I'm beginning the broadcast network. This is the very activity of it. I really like that. We've been doing radio broadcasts, and I think we're going to get back to them here pretty soon, I think, right? We're going to try. Yeah. Yes. Life goes on. People, so I hope you're feeling better.
I'm doing some better.
Yeah.
Did some stuff over the weekend, and I've got some hurts and aches and pains that I didn't know was still there and still having problems with my equilibrium and a little dizziness. So yeah, well, the doctor said my brain was bruised some. So, and she said it would take a while for it to heal, because the only time it heals is when you sleep.
That's true. I'd be having a rough time with that right now. The other thing that happened, is that one thing I learned this year that came out really strongly was about fairy folk. Festival people deal with fairy folk. I don't know. They do. People ask me about this. What?
Yes, you do. I said that right there, and now it's gone.
Yeah. So
yes.
So fairy folk get accomplished out of there. So we have some ideas about festivals next year, and I think one of the things the Paladins want to do is want to help people who don't normally have camping equipment, who don't have that sort of thing. We want to help. We really do think that while we're bringing it online, now as you've seen it, I'm hoping that next year, expecting that Paladins will be able to help people set up a camp, to bring in city folk, deep urban folk who because I know it's expensive to go to festivals when you don't have equipment. It is, because tent can cost you $100, food can cost you $100. The festival itself can cost you anywhere from $80, which I think is like Heartland is like fairly inexpensive. It's like $85, $90.
No. It's more like 125.
Okay. And all the way up.
Still on one of the lower ends of some of the tickets for festivals. Yes.
PSG is $260. I know that. Starwood is $210. Hexfest is probably the most expensive. I believe that one's $360. That's in a hotel festival.
Yeah.
So that one's a little bit easier for some people. The Corellans are charging $75 for our weekend, but that's a very different type of game. And they go all of that. Puff was $110. That's what. Puff was $110 for the weekend.
Okay.
If you got in early. So that cost plus cost plus the cost of transport. It's hard for deep urban dwellers, especially younger people who just don't have camping equipment or cars and things like that to make it. So next year, the Paladins want to bring more of those types of individuals. Those people, make it possible for them to attend for a small fee, free and small fee scholarships, depending on what they want to do, and bring them out to have this great time, these great experiences. So that's one of the big things we want to do. And part of the reason is that I think that when you exhibit and have your practice with people in nature, and that's why the Paladins want to bring this out of the idea of bringing it in nature, you get to have experiences like fairies stealing things from you. People laugh, but it's a kind of a weird little thing out there in the festivals.
You experience the rain and the mud and all the wonderful things that come along with it. Or the 110 in the shade at 90% humidity as you melt away here.
I've had those experiences, but also the experiences of getting to know people. I think the one big difference between online festivals and the physical festivals is the contact, the skin touch.
The interaction.
Right.
The interaction and going out and camping and meeting people, because you're going to meet the people that are around you.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the festivals, you have to do your 2 hours of volunteer time towards the festival doing something or another. That way you get out and you meet people outside of your circle or little group, or not sitting in the same area you're camping in. You can build friendships, you can meet new people, you can do all of that by the volunteer time at the festival. Because most festivals have 2 to 4 hours of, that's part of your festival fee, is helping wherever they need help at and registering for it.
Okay, stop us. So I was just making sure that we were on the air because people are saying hello. Good morning, Lilith. Good morning, everybody. It is very fascinating. So that to be able to be so fortunate. Wow, lots of comments. Thank you, everybody. Stop this out. Okay, what is he? It's very sunny in the Netherlands today. Okay, good. So yeah, so there's people are talking about how they enjoy the fresh air and everything else too. So I think that's a really big important aspect of the festival season is that these are both different things. I do like the online festivals in the sense that we can record it, we can save it, we can have all these great conversations. So they're very
Starwood's recorded their top speakers and all their bands since the beginning, as far back as I can remember. They own and record everything.
Yeah, but I almost never see them.
You don't. That's in their archives.
I know. What good is that? I know. Future generations. Hopefully it won't get destroyed before people get to see them.
Right.
Next year, I'm hoping to be able to make a deal with some of these to do live broadcast.
Yes.
I think people are going to be much more open to it now.
Which they should be, because that gives them a double revenue stream. Because absolutely. At that point, you can have a festival ticket that you pay for the people that want to come to it, the people that can't come to it, or they can bring in bigger speakers, bigger bands, and then you can either buy a festival pass for online or sell them just like the rest of them. Concert ticket, bought concert ticket. You know, that was one of the things I like about Brushwood is Brushwood sells 3 different passes. There's a day pass that you can come in and do workshops. You can visit all the merchants. You can do all of that. And it runs out, I think, at like 5 o'clock. There's another pass that's called the band pass, which is you get in like 5, 6 o'clock. You see the bands on stage, and I think it's 11 o'clock. You have to be out by 11 o'clock. And then they have a fire pass to come out and just do the fire at night. So, you know.
That's on top of your general admission ticket where you just buy the whole pass with the whole package.
Yeah. And then some of the festivals, they don't care whether you're on the grounds for 30 seconds or you're there for the whole event. You're going to pay for a full ticket to come in.
And that I'm used to. I'm used to that ideology too.
Yeah.
And all of these, as long as the policies are set straight forth and out there.
Yep.
I think that, you know, then you know what you're getting into. It's all a matter of what strategies those festivals feel is best for them. Especially as it is their primary, for most of these people, it's their primary thing.
And one of the other things I like about Brushwood is they prorate their festivals. You know, if they're having a 7-day festival, you can pay the full entry price. You show up Friday, you pay for Friday, Saturday. So they prorate daily, the price of the festival goes down, which I really like, and that draws more people in because not everybody can take a week off. You know, that's not possible for a lot of people. That it's all about making enough money to pay the rent and do a festival.
Yes, okay, I'm gonna answer something that's so we mentioned that yes, these phones are getting hot. People are going to, you know, phones are actually getting really stressed out there. Your smartphones being able to see all this stuff online. It is eating them up. I found that out. I have probably logged in more minutes on my phone. I had my phone tell me the other day, it says, you're up to 11 hours and 57 minutes of airtime, like 12 hours a day. Well, yeah, of course I am. I think I'm getting my money's worth now. It's like a buffet. I'm getting my money's worth at the unlimited level.
Or the fun message I got the other day. You're coming close to your limit.
Yeah.
So
well, it's very interesting. Right before I started the festival circuit, I got everything unlimited. I got myself opened up to be able to do this.
Right.
So I think we're moving along pretty well. I think people have really enjoyed it, that sort of thing. So just as that, me and Neil are going to be back pretty soon. I think we're going to talk about bringing out a show, especially for the festival merchants and all of those. Our radio show, we're going to bring that back.
Yes.
You do it, and maybe as a Zoom. And so we really are very supportive of, I think, economic activity is what I would call it. Not just merchants, but the overall idea that the Pagans community really does have underneath it all, an economy that may not be, and it's
It
very
does.
fragile right now.
We have our own music. So we have music. We have massage therapists. We have readers of all kinds, depending on your flavor, whether you want tarot, the bones, runes, whatever. And then you have all the independent little crafters. You have the bigger merchants like me, because I'm considered one of the anchor stores, just like the malls.
Yeah.
You know, you put an anchor store in and you build everything else around your anchor stores. And you have you have people that are crafters that craft for the weekends, that do little shows, do local stuff, come out to festival and sell. And then you have big guys like me that come in, that's all we do pretty much.
Absolutely.
We do festivals and fairs and other shows.
Yeah, I think that's an important aspect of it. So I think we're going to bring that show back. I will make announcements of it. I'm beginning the channel for broadcasting. If you guys want to do shows, let me know. If you want to do webinars, let me know. We're going to do a psychic fair here soon. I'm going to try doing a psychic fair. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool.
Like, you know, people really like that idea, so I'm working on that. I have a great team. And ultimately today, I think for me, it's a reflection on what I set out a year ago. Activating the crystal web, bringing energy in, saying that we needed. A year ago, I basically said we needed to have our community look at its resources. It became, if you listen to the speech, which is now on Facebook, it's been on Facebook, but now back up on it, was pretty prescient. I mean, it was very much saying, hey, and
I watched it this morning.
Yeah.
Some of those things were like, well, all the food and stuff all got bulldozed.
Yeah.
That whole plan went out the window.
They did.
And it's like, when now that food and stuff would be really nice for the quarantine and everything else. So
yeah,
I think, you know, there's a different way of looking at things, and I really enjoyed it.
So, and I still think that we need to do that. I think that a lot of people need it in saving seed. I think people get out there and plant some food, because I think so the problem with it is I think that people don't realize how much disruptions happened, because it's still so early in the disruption. We're seeing, you know, when you see pictures of the Idaho farmers having mountains, I mean, literally mountains of potatoes, those potatoes would make it into the stores 2 months from now. You know, a month, 2 months, 3 months out from now. Part of that would be going into factories where they were turned into mashed potatoes and dehydrated to last for a year or 2 years or 3 years. You know, you're seeing all this milk that's getting dumped, that if it was, you know, not only not getting to our market now, but it's not also being not turned into cheeses, and not turned into dried milks, and not sort of stored foods. We're going to see this, you know, we don't realize how much of our packaged foods really rely on these supply chains. And then the president ordering the blood sacrifices of animals, this meat factories, and at some level it's okay. I'm a meat eater, so I'm not going to protest that. But also at the same time, you know, being forced back into these places to avoid these disruptions is another thing. Oil prices crashing. I mean, this is the biggest thing, is that oil prices crash. So where it could be cheaper than ever to travel,
you can't go anywhere.
You can't go anywhere, but we're starting to. We're being the quarantines out there. I'm going to see what's going to happen. My home city of Chicago, which is a place I can't go back to, they're under quarantine till the end of the month. They're not going to open up before June 1st. They made it very clear. And I understand that they're having a lot more difficulties with it than most cities. You know, New York, you know, it's hard. I saw something heartbreaking yesterday. And that was the Orthodox Jewish community coming out in thousands to bury a rabbi who died of COVID-19. And then the police coming out there and trying to break them up. You know, having antagonistic forces between these Orthodox Jewish people who are in so much in their grief and so much in their pain for losing one of their revered people. And at the same time, the mayor and the police force having to try to keep everybody safe by keeping them in their house. That's, to me, really where it's so difficult, because who is, you know, it's so easy to divide us on that, saying that the police did the right thing. Well, yeah, they're doing their job and they should be trying to do that. But at the same time, can you empathize with that amount of grief? They're, lining the streets to see somebody go by, to kind of say goodbye to somebody. So the best thing you can do is by staying home is that you avoid some more of these situations. What I don't agree with are these damn protesters who are going into state houses with guns. Under no circumstance should we ever be allowed to utilize guns against our illegal officials. That's what we have voting booths for. We have all sorts of differences. I don't even care about the protests, but protests with guns, no. I try to draw the line there, huh?
Uh-huh.
No guns, please. Leave the guns at home. I'm not arguing against protesting. I'm a big protester. I'm a member of the Extinction Rebellion. I believe in protests. But I don't believe in protests with guns. I just don't. I don't think it's fair. And I'm not even anti-Second Amendment. I like guns. I think guns are good tools. I've done a little hunting. I've done a little bit of that, but intimidation, not a good thing. But it's a big thing about festivals. I know festivals do not allow, people look at it, as much as we are, they don't allow guns. We don't have weapons there. Not really. And people are always talking about how unsafe festivals are, isn't it unruly? No, you surprisingly not.
No.
It is unruly in the sense that the kids are allowed to run around. People make a lot of noise. There's a lot of hooping. Tents do not make good insulators of noise.
Uh-huh.
So if you're if you're enjoying yourself in action, realize that everybody is going to applaud you and clap you for your performance. Yes, I'm talking to all you bell-tanners who enjoy the acts of pleasure. Yes. So we're unruly in that aspect, but there's not fights. There's not that unruly energy that you would think that people go, oh, when you take away those type of enforcements, to go away. No, people like each other. People generally like each other.
Most all the festivals, you get caught fighting, you get thrown out.
Absolutely.
And there's some of them that, you're barred for a year and a day from a facility or a festival. And there's other ones that at that point, you're kicked out for life.
Zero tolerance, right?
No tolerance, yes.
And so
depends on the site and depends on the festival and the combination of the two.
Absolutely. Let me see what questions. Wow, thank you for everybody for watching this morning. Boy, a lot of people are watching. So let's go ahead with one last thought. So the Paladins today, I want to thank everybody who's been with us. The fourth is with us. It is mostly coincidence that today and the Paladins, both this year and last year, ended up on the same day doing this. We're moving along, and you started hearing more about the Paladins. If you're interested in them, check out the Order of Paladins page. You can message me at edthepagan@gmail.com and find out more about it. It's basically, if you want to know it, it is basically a pagan order. It is pagan, or Gaius. We can be very particular. No, you don't have to be a pagan. You could just have to be somebody who venerates the earth, who thinks the earth is essential and living. You can't do that. It's hard for us to join us because we think nature should be bulldozed. We're not going to have a lot of common ground, okay? But we are looking at preserving as much nature as possible for as long as possible. So we're not one of these organizations that are like preppers. People are paladins, preppers. But we do think preparation for emergencies is important. We're going to start spending a lot more time in our community preparing for what crises are coming. Hurricane season's coming.
Yep.
And I've seen the reports of hurricane season. They're calling for a heavy hurricane season. And
weather's supposed to get bad, yes.
Yeah, it is supposed to get bad. We're going to start seeing this sort of rebellion of nature. People have seen it. We've seen the glory of it too. If we haven't seen anything calm down, it's been really kind of interesting to see nature kind of do some healing.
Yes.
And it's kind of the first time in my life that I've really seen nature heal in my life on a macro scale. I've seen it on micro scales. I've seen us recover stuff, but on a macro scale, oh my gosh, the pollution reports and all of that, it's amazing. And so it's going to give us some pause to think about our society, how we're going to deal with it out of this. Star Wars, enjoy it. I think Star Wars is our version of the Knights of the Round Table, you know, the King Arthur stories. I think generations to come, they're going to ask, oh yeah, we're going to quote Star Wars like we quote the people of King Arthur and Shakespeare. And here I've seen people shake their head, no, it's not the same thing, but it is. Hmm?
It's all the same tale, just different tellings of the same tale.
Yeah. I think that we're living in a mythic time. I think 2020 is going to be a mythic year. You know, we started out with Australia on fire, nearly World War III, and now the coronavirus, and we have the quarantine, and now what is it? Murder hornets they're trying to make out.
Yep.
I don't think that's a big event of the year. And then we're going to go ahead and see more of this. But the festivals, let's see what we can do. Talk to us and everything else. Boy, I think that's it for today. Do you have anything?
Nope, not really.
I really appreciate you joining me this morning, Neil.
Well, yes. You usually try to join your coffee in the mornings.
Yeah, absolutely, and everybody do it.
Yep.
And thank you for those who bought coffee cups. Oh, I didn't mention it. We had the Corellian coffee cups the other day at CorellianPublishing.com, and people are buying them. I'm like, oh my gosh, I should get mine is in the washer right now. I should get a dishwasher. You don't know what it's like to have a dishwasher. I am, you know, my household, we have a dishwasher. It's me. And to have a dishwasher has been kind of one of those fancy things. My daughter, when I spent time with my daughter, she had one too. I'm still amazed by dishwashers. And everybody goes, well, you're a 57-year-old man. How many? Dishwashers have not been part of my house. Actually, surprisingly, until the last couple of years, even air conditioners weren't. So I'm kind of still a neo-primitive in some way. I'm in a lot of ways a neo-primitive. I may be a futurist online, but my lifestyle is a little bit neo-primitive. And so that sort of thing. So, all righty, folks. Well, thank you for joining me. We'll be back tomorrow. Tonight's Chancellor's Chat. Chancellor's Chat is not broadcast. You have to go actually join the Zoom account, which you can go see on CorellianTradition.com. That's a private meeting with you, Don, and all of the closest people who want to hear Don speak. I'll be back tomorrow with Coffee Pusher, tomorrow night with Meet the Crowd, Deej, and we got a lot more coming. If you want a show, if you want to do this, you need help broadcasting, you want to join us in the online community, terrific, contact me at the Pagan. And remember, if you want to get an education, witchschool.com, our sponsor, who continuously go to that. And of course, if you want to get to Neil, how do we find you, Neil?
You can find me on Facebook at Neil Goodman, or go to Neil Shop, or go to neilshop.com.
Terrific. And so, with that, thank you, everybody, and have a pleasant day. Blessed be.
Blessed be.